Keith Craig Harris, Right Army Second Class, United States Navy. Lots of memories, but not good. I had one mission we were on, it was a two-boat mission. We went up a canal and it got real tight in the canal. And it didn't look good. And we had a Vietnamese aboard, a trainee that we were training, and he was also our interpreter. And for some reason, he crawled up on the cabin and was up right against the gun tub. And I felt something, and I turned around to look at him, and I yelled at him to get down. You're not supposed to be up here. And about that time, there was a claymore mine hanging in a tree, and it couldn't have been 20 foot from me, eye level. And I remember screaming, "Claymore, Claymore," and it went off. To this day, the only thing that why they hung it backwards, I don't know. Charlie wasn't real bright. And apparently the claymore was hung backwards. And when it went off, instead of coming outward at me and at us, it went off the other way through the trees. But all hell broke loose. And I was swinging them twins just left and right as fast as I could swing them. And I noticed something out of the corner of my eye, and it was our Vietnamese. And he was sliding off the cabin. I dove out of the gun tub and grabbed a hold of him. And I remember yelling at the lieutenant, yelling at Don, just screaming. And he was in the portal on the port side, firing his M16. And while we were trying to clear the zone and everything, and he finally heard me, and he happened to look up, and I was holding on to our Vietnamese to keep him from going over the side into the drink. And my foot got caught in the twins because I'm hanging out of the gun tub trying to hold on to him. And my foot got caught, or to this day, I still believe, and to the day I go to my grave, I'll still believe if my foot hadn't got caught, we'd have both went over the side. Well, Don seen him, and with the drippings that was running down, he thought it was me. And then he realized it wasn't, and he grabbed the Vietnamese guy and lowered him down, and somehow I chicken crawled and got my foot undone and got back in the gun tub. Well, we cleared the zone, and then the boat ahead of us called for medevac and everything. So we had our Vietnamese guy medevaced. And everybody asked why, or why him and not me, and things like this. And I still, 45 years later, I believe wholeheartedly that that young man took my bullet. If he hadn't been there, that'd been my bullet, because he was right directly beside me. And the last I heard, he'd lost his leg, his arm. They didn't know whether he was going to live, but he was mangled pretty bad. So I don't know whether he only got hit once, twice, or what. I do know his left arm was totally shattered from his shoulder all the way to his wrist. I had heard it was just like they'd taken sticks and just broke them up, you know. That was all shattered. Apparently the round went through him, into him, traveled down him, and out through his leg and knee. And I did find a mark on the gun tub. It didn't go into the gun tub, but it ended up ricocheting off, and I'm going to assume that that's, you know, his body mass slowed the velocity down, and then it ricocheted off because the tub is round. So, you know, but I did find a long mark on the tub afterwards. And like I said, till the day I go to meet my maker. I know we continued up, and I think it was Dave Wallace's boat was our lead boat. And from, I guess from Don, Lieutenant Hammer, on radios and communications and everything, I think that Dave went on and called for the medevac chopper. And somewhere up the canal, where it opened up, or where we cleared the zone and everything and found an open area to bring him in, and that's where the chopper come and sat down. That was on the 71 boat. Another story on the 71 boat, we were on the upper Mekong, Border Patrol, and there was an incident, I believe it was in February of 1969. I read a book somewhere one day. I was here in Washington. We come out in 91, the group I belonged to back in Murfreesboro. And we took a bus trip out, paid for the bus, and everybody, you know, brought a bus trip out for Veterans Day, going to the wall and everything. And we were in, I don't remember what hotel we were at, and there was a book in there. And one of the guys with us, I told him this story that I'm about to tell again. And he slid the book over and said, look down and read so far down, and start reading. And it was everything that I had been talking about. And it was in this book, and I wish I could find it again. I've never been able to find that incident again. Even going online, as good as computers are in that today, and trying to go into sites, I can't find it. But we were on patrol, and there was PBRs were docked at the YRBM down in the Mekong, south of us, where we mothered out of. And they were on board, so I don't know whether they were up on board the YRBM or whether they were at the rear barge or where they were at. Neither here nor there. And I guess some of the guys off the YRBM wanted to take a ride on a riverboat. Well, the boat captain said, hey, my boat, come on, I'll take you for a ride. I don't care. And he thought they were heading downstream when they pulled out, and it was at night. And they were heading upstream. He didn't know the area. And the way the river run up, it banked in through a little narrow, and then opened the way back up into a big wide opening. And apparently they were hugging the bank, and just as you go through this narrow gap, there was a little island there, and they went around the other side of that island. So we missed them on our radar. And they hugged the bank, and they went into Cambodia, and they got captured. The Cambodians, or Khmer Rouge or whatever, captured them. And the government got the crew back and the people after a few days of negotiations and that. They did not get the boat back. They did not get the weapons back. They lost, and the boat had all the Navy codes on it for about 6 months worldwide. So that all had to be changed. It was a big deal. Well, Steve Weekly and I was on watch, and we got called in and went back down to Nabe, and they started through I guess a hearing deal for a court-martial for losing over $1 million worth of government property in a war zone, you know. Tried to tell us we were doing this or doing that, not doing our jobs. Charges were all dropped. After everything went through, I mean, the charges were dropped and we were sent back. So went back to the boat and everything. And it wasn't long after that I was transferred. Steve was transferred to different boats, you know. So, you know, I hate to, that's a big part of my life. And like I said, I did read that somewhere in a book, and it actually has the person's name that was on the other boat, all the people. The boat captain, which I believe was the second-class petty officer on the PBR at the time. They all got busted in rank, and I don't remember whether any of them got any time out of it or not. I do know they got busted. I think the second class got busted down to E3 or something, you know. But yeah, that's a dark moment, but it happens. And it was, we were not derelict of duty. It was just at night, it was dark. And if anybody's ever seen a radar screen, everything shows up, water shows up sometimes, and these weren't the greatest state-of-the-art radars that they had on these boats. They were good, but clouds show up, fog show up, mist shows up, and they all show up a little different. It was just hard to see that boat if he was up in a shaded green area of what we call, you know, just junk stuff. Wasn't running that hard, that fast. So therefore it wasn't like picking up a good solid, you know, blip. So yeah, we got out of that.